Universities have evolved to become one of the most complex organizational forms that the human species has ever created. What are the reasons? The breadth of their goals and missions, the tremendous expertise and specialization that characterize their basic functions, and the huge diversity of their activities. Given the tremendous importance and complexity of the university, the question of how universities should be governed has been a recurring issue in higher education. Since governance is about interest articulation and goal realization, it raises the questions about who decides when on what. And in the case of higher education, this introduces two levels of governance. These levels are the internal and external dimensions of governance. Internal governance refers to the organizational arrangements within institutions that contributed to the smooth running of these organizations and constitute the lines of authority, decision-making processes, policies, staffing, and financing mechanisms. External governance, in most cases, refers to the macrosystem or state control of higher education institutions and entails the laws, decrees, funding arrangements, and evaluations they subject these institutions to. Higher education governance is therefore understood as the internal coordination and external system of higher education and research. Governance is therefore of vital importance in higher education and can be a fairly elusive and abstract concept for many people. In this section, we will thereby conceptualize university governance within the recent and POV studies. Conceptualizing university governance is necessary as the processes and outcomes of university governance affect academic quality and how universities are perceived in the marketplace by employers. Within the recent studies in university governance, different concepts have been defined and modified from the traditional and modern aspects. The term higher education governance as we use it today did not appear in traditional discussions on higher education. Academic governance was traditionally understood to encompass broad areas of university operations. Some examples of these operations are the selection and recruitment of students, the appointment and promotion of academic staff, the accreditation and review of the courses, decision-making structures, and the establishment and monitoring of academic standards, including for teaching and research. In addition, it was characterized by limited access based on birth, talent, or both of these, highly structured curricula, full-time studies after secondary education, institutional governance of small elite groups, and broadly shared high academic standards. However, today's concept of higher education governance is radically different from older traditions in certain aspects. Scholars define higher education governance as a multidimensional concept involving academic view with collegiality focus, governmental view with legal framework, and external view with marketing focus. Moreover, the term higher education governance is closely linked to the complexity of the societal context, characterized by the transformation from elite to mass higher education during the last 5 decades. The phenomenon of mass higher education involves a bond between traditional and modern higher education in several aspects. Modern mass higher education is characterized by larger access, flexible curricula, direct or delayed entry after secondary education, comprehensive institutions with diverse standards, and structured institutional governance with a broad representation of various stakeholders. As you can see, university governance comprises a complex web. Conceptualizing university governance is therefore essential to the functioning of higher education at all levels, as well as the governing structures as a chain of command. If you want to gain more insights about the composition of governing bodies, please join us in the next section.